Well, hello, my name is Randall and I'm with the Philippines Project. My video today is entitled, My 20-Year Marriage to a Filipina, or it could be called, Married 20 Years to a Filipina, What You Need to Know. If you're looking for a partner in life who's not only attractive, but loyal, and somebody on whom you can depend, you've come to the right place. Filipinas are beautiful, and they're known for their beauty worldwide. But it's much more than beauty that drew me to my relationship with my Filipina. I really think, more than anything else, it was just the sound of her voice. What I'm going to do today, I'm going to read some statements about Filipinas. I did some research and I put it down, and then it told me that Filipinas had certain characteristics. And I'm going to make the statement, and I'm going to add my own commentary afterwards to see whether they hold up in court, so to speak. First of all, they say Filipinas have strong family values. Now, I believe that pretty much is true. Now, you're going to find some Filipinas that don't have any family values. In a large group of people, you're always going to find somebody that's not going to play according to the rules. But I will say this, as a rule, people that grow up in the Philippines, women that grow up in the Philippines, they're going to have more of a cultural bent towards family relationships and family values more than a lot of other countries. I believe most Filipinas are interested in having a nice home to come home to and a nice family to take care of. I really believe, that they do have the family values. Now, you could ask a woman anywhere in the world, United States, UK, where you pick a country, and you could ask them, what do you think about family values? And they're going to tell you, of course, we believe in family values. But if you've lived in the West and you've been married, and let's say America, for instance, if you've been married in America, there's a 50-50 chance that your marriage is not going to make it. Now, we can't put all the blame on a woman because it takes two, right, to tango, so to speak. So I do believe that they're a lot more aligned than, according to family values. I know that Filipinas are going to be more likely to preserve that good family culture and have family values more than we do in the West. So there, I put it on the guys and the girls, but Filipinas are different. This study also said that Filipinas have a deep loyalty. That's just part of their nature, part of their makeup, that they're very loyal individuals. And I would say pretty much that's true of Filipino people, but especially the Filipinas. My wife, our marriage is sacred. We're together. She doesn't share a lot of information about our marriage outside in the general public. If we have a problem, if we have an issue we're working through, she's not going to share it even to her closest friends. And you know what? Her closest friends are Filipinas, and they don't really share their drama with her either. She didn't want to hear it, but I will say that most Filipinas really aren't sharing that kind of drama to the outside world. So that loyalty is a big thing for me. And I have to agree with that statement that Filipinas are a very loyal wife or girlfriend. I'd say their loyalty it's really unwavering. It reminded me of a story of when me and my wife were first married, first few months or maybe the first year sometime, and she had a sister-in-law, married her brother. You may have seen her if you watch my videos. Her name's Diane, and she had a problem with her throat, and she had a growth growing on. I don't know what it was, but she had a growth on her throat, and it was just about to choke off her air supply. She couldn't hardly swallow, and she needed medical attention. Of course, she don't have any money. Michael, her husband, didn't really have any money for that kind of hospital stay. So, they came to us and said, hey, what can you do? So we're sitting there on the couch. I can remember it like it was yesterday. Sitting on it's a green couch, and Flora's sitting on this side of me, and she's all worried about it. She just kind of got her head laying on my shoulder, and we're just talking about it. And, I told her we're going to send the money. and she had to have that surgery, or things wouldn't have turned out good for her. I'm pretty sure of that. So anyway, we sent the money. It was $700, and we were discussing it. And she ended up after this night, she went to the hospital and she had her surgery. They kept her a week and a half, turned her loose, and it was $700. So where can you stay in the hospital with constant nursing care and doctors coming in checking on you, have a surgery for $700? But we didn't really have the money back then, and so it kind of put us in a little bit of a financial bind. Not anything that ruined us, but yeah, I mean, we didn't really have the money, but we found it. We sent it to the Philippines, and we took care of her family. And now it's my family too. But I remember us discussing it on the couch, and she said, yeah, I hate to spend the money on stuff like that, but this is just one of those times, and I said, yeah, I'm willing to do it. We need to support our family. And she said, yeah, honey, I'll stick to you. I will stick to you, or stick with you. I will stick with you through, she said it like this, thick and thin. So through thick and thin, we're going to stay in this relationship. And she was demonstrating and vocalizing her loyalty to our marriage, not just to me as a man. I mean, yeah, but I'm the same way with her. So that does demonstrate a really good loyalty on my Filipina. Now, I can't attest to others, but I do have a lot of friends that are married to Filipinas, and they would say the same thing. All right, moving on. The statement also says that they have a very caring nature, and they love to care for their family, and undisputedly, yeah, there's nothing Flora likes anymore than, it just almost seemed like there's a joy that wells up in her eyes, and she has like almost an impatience to take care of me, whether it's she wants to trim my hair or whatever it is. She'll see something on my shirt, she get a little damp cloth, she just all these little things. If I would take off my clothes and go take a shower and I've laid them across the bed, I come back up. A lot of times they're already gone. They're in the laundry, and I take care of my own stuff. But these are the kind of things that she sees, and then she just goes ahead and does. And she's a very caring and loyal person. And I believe from seeing other Filipinas in the Philippines and seeing other Filipinas that are married to my friends, that's a pretty common thread. You see, I used to think, wow, I got so lucky having the best Filipina in all of the Philippines, because I've heard some stories around about different people, and I'm telling you what, I'm really sold on mine, and really sold on my wife. But anyway, I really feel the same way about her. All right, the next one, I would say the last statement is very true. She is a very caring person, and other Filipinas I have seen, even when I'm in the Philippines, I'll see a wife taking care of her children. They're very domestic oriented, and they're not afraid to work. But that's the next statement. So the next statement is that Filipinas are smart and ambitious. That's one point they came up with. Oh, well, does that apply to them all? I don't think it really does apply to them all. But if you're a little bit selective in your choice of a girlfriend or a wife when it comes to marrying a Filipina, you're probably going to be pretty satisfied with what you get, because it's not hard to find a good one. You may have to go through a few. You may have to meet this one, meet that one, or maybe go on a date here or go on a date there. But you're going to find one pretty quick. That a lot of the baloney that ladies are taught in the West and men are taught in the West, we're all products of the media and things like that. There's just not going to be a lot of that going on in a Filipino relationship with a Western man. It's just a lot of things that you just don't have. A lot of problems that you if you're standing in the kitchen or you say, hey, can you go cook me something? Which I never do that. Very seldom ever, because I like to cook myself. But you might get a response in the West like, well, what, you're gonna I'm not your slave. I work just like you do. And they're right. Most women here work a full-time job. But, there's an attitude of they feel like women sometimes feel like they're being put upon if they're asked to do anything. And I don't think twice, honey, can you take this and take it down to the storage unit, or can you take the trash out, or honey, can you, and I take care of everything else besides the home. I take care of getting the grass cut. I take care of paying all the bills. I take care of what investments we got, what properties we've got. She doesn't have really anything to do with that stuff. But she's very smart. She's very ambitious, and she helps out where she can. And so, yes, I would agree with that statement that Filipinas are very smart and ambitious. The next statement is English proficiency. They say that Filipinas are very good in English. And I would say, yeah, pretty much. We have some lost in translation moments. Sometimes words get heated. Not that often, but most of the time we find it's just a lost in translation situation. And you'll get used to that after a while. If you have a relationship with a Filipino, you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, that's 100% of the time, almost all the time. It's really nobody's fault. It's just things get confused and there's not proper communication going on. And those things happen. We understand it. We know what it is, and we work through it. And I would say on the subject of English proficiency, I'd say that's maybe 75% correct. They don't really speak perfect English. Who cares? I love the way, the sound of a Filipina talking. It just falls softly and sweet upon the ear. That's the only way I know how to describe it. It's just a very nice, pleasant, positive most of the time. And she's helpful. She's ambitious. She doesn't mind to work hard and say, hey, let's get out here and do this. My wife will get out. We can chop wood. We can drive the side-by-side around. We can cook outdoors. We can, whatever there is to be done, she's a willing hand in the house, ready to do it. Next, it said Filipinas are adaptable. They have a high degree of adaptability. And you can see that throughout the world. I mean, my wife came, when I met her, she was in Singapore. So she was an overseas Filipino worker, and she worked for 9 years in Singapore. Now, could I say that she's probably lazy? No, because she works 6 and 7 days a week. So I know right there, if you're, interested in a Filipina and she is an overseas Filipino worker, you got somebody that knows what work is. And they know, the people that they work for. It may be Singaporeans, it may be Chinese, it may be in Hong Kong, it may be in Korea. And I'll tell you, their bosses are a lot tougher than what American bosses are. So they have been accustomed and used to, following orders, taking orders, and they go about their business. What I'm saying is, I guess following orders is not really a good thing, because I don't give my wife many orders, but she's not going to be offended easily. So, there's that. She has the adaptability, and you take a Filipina, you put them on a cruise ship in the middle of the ocean, they'll all work together, they'll get the job done, everybody will be happy. They're very positive and engaging, and they're very adaptable to any situation, whether it's Saudi Arabia, whether it's, they go to Australia, Hong Kong, Singapore, Korea, any of these places that they can work overseas, they will do. So, yes, they're very adaptable. I agree 100% to that. There's no way that I couldn't. The next one is that they have a positive outlook. And I think if my wife gets on to me for anything, it's that I complain sometimes. And you shouldn't complain about that, because then she'll always, the devil's advocate, if you want to call it that, but she'll always have the point of view and try to draw me back to a positive situation. Just like this video. This is the third time I've recorded this video, and I can go down. I've had trouble with microphones, and I'll go through a whole video and it's got clickety-clack all the way through, and I had to go buy another microphone. And this is the third time recording it. She will not let me get very negative about that. She's always going to say, well, maybe it's just this, or maybe you should try that. And it's always trying to solve a problem and on the positive side rather than just being negative. Say, yeah, that YouTube sucks, get rid of it. She's just not like that. She's very positive. And I'll tell you, if you're thinking about finding someone from the Philippines, and I'm speaking to my subscribers and my viewers on this channel, if you're looking for a Filipina, first of all, you're probably single, I hope so. And, but yeah, so anyway, she's very, so if you're looking for a Filipina and you don't really know how to do it, that's one thing that this channel has never offered before, and like a solution, because I don't really know how to date as far as go and find a Filipino woman. I mean, I found mine back in the old days. I think there may have been a few dating sites or something like that, but really there wasn't anything. But they have today, there's one company that I know pretty well. They're called Christian Filipina. And I'm going to put a link in the description down below. And if you're looking for somebody to spend the rest of your life with, it's going to have some of these characteristics, like positive adaptability, loyal, they care about family, all of these things. These are very important. All these things are very important traits to have in a life partner, let's call it that, or a wife, or a long-term girlfriend, a good relationship. We're looking for these kind of things. And it seems like these days it's harder and harder to find. So, if I had it to do over again, if I wasn't married for over 20 years already, and I was at my age now, and I was retired, and I was looking for, well, how do I even find a woman in the Philippines? I guess I got to go. And that's a good way. You can do that. But what happens a lot of times to people, they've never been to the Philippines, right? So they go and they get off that 24, 26, 30-hour flight, and the first 2 days of their vacation is already wasted because jet lag, right? And then, you can get out. What are you going to do? I'm going to go find a woman. We'll get out and start walking around. And you can do that. You can absolutely do that, and probably some of you have. But, you're going to run into someone, oh, she's attractive, and try to chat her up a little bit. Come to find out she's married. Well, strike one. Or you might see somebody that come up and maybe they're a little too friendly, and you kind of judge and maybe afraid of their character a little bit. So there's another one. And before you know it, that week and a half that you got left, you saw some sights, and just when you enter the Philippines, there's just so much to see. It's so much different than the United States that's really going to suck a lot of time out of your plan for that vacation. You may be on the beach or whatever, but you could waste, or you could spend your time on your vacation and never meet one. Now you might go to a bar and you could probably take somebody home. That kind of thing happens. That's not, if you're looking for a serious partner in life or a certain type of a woman, I don't suggest that. But Christian Filipina really helps you. Basically what it does is it filters a lot of the people that aren't serious, a lot of the people maybe that they're just in it for the money. There are probably some like that, and nobody's going to be able to filter it all out. But I believe Christian Filipina really is a good company. They seem to be honest, and if I had it to do over again, me as a businessman, I'm going to try to, the most efficient way to do what I got to do, whether it's choosing a wife or whether it's running a business, whether it's advertising or workflow problems. I'm going to try to find the most efficient way. And to me, if you have a choice of, this big net you can throw out over the Philippines, and then all the people come up and you can pick and choose. Well, I like them between 30 and 35, or I'm looking for a woman in her 50s, or, maybe you're younger and you're looking for a younger woman. Whatever your situation is, you can pick age, you can pick from whether they work or not, you can pick from the geographical location. Maybe you're going to visit Davao City, that's where you're going to go. Well, then you can find all the ladies that are on Christian Filipina in Davao City. So it really helps you narrow down and takes a lot of the work out of it. Now, do they charge for it? I think they do. I'd be surprised if they didn't. I don't know of any place that's in business that doesn't charge and make some money. If you go into a restaurant and you sit down to a nice meal and they take care of you and they provide a good service, a good product, and you really enjoy it, and then the check comes and you're surprised, like, why in the heck do I have a check? I didn't know I was going to have to pay. Well, that's silly, right? Nobody thinks that way. So Christian Filipina does charge something, but I will tell you this, in their research, what I have been reading is that usually a person, if they're serious and they take it serious and looking for a mate, somebody to meet, then usually they pay for the service for about 3 months. So it's not like you're locked into this thing for 2 or 3 years. I mean, unless you just want to, that's up to you. And I'm sure they have a lot of different plans. I'm not here to really sell that, but what I am here to do on this video is talk about Filipinas and, you know, pursuing that relationship. If you're looking for somebody to be with, I would encourage you to do that. I would just say that Christian Filipina would be a great start, if nothing else. Imagine that if you went down and you clicked that link, and then you went up and you registered and you started, you know, going into the website, and you could be talking to potentially the person you spend the rest of your life with this evening or tomorrow, as early as that. So, you know, what is that worth to you? It would be worth a lot to me if I was single and I wanted to pre-qualify whoever I was talking to. So yeah, the next thing they say about Filipinas is that they love to cook. They can cook all the Filipino dishes, all the Philippines dishes. And, you know, if you've been around Filipino culture very much, you know there's 7 or 8, 10 different dishes that they're really going to excel at and that are really popular in the Philippines. And they don't mind cooking. The kitchen's not a strange place to them. They even know how to clean up dishes. And it's like, really? You know, a woman who likes to do that and doesn't mind doing that? I'll give you an example. Me and my wife, I cook breakfast almost every day. And sometimes it's like 10, sometimes 11 o'clock, because we like to eat a little later, and then, you know, you have that longer period. They call it intermittent fasting. So we wait and we eat late in the morning. But I do all the cooking for breakfast, and I'll sit down after it's all done. We'll chat. She'll sit there with me, and I'll talk while I'm cooking the eggs or whatever. We'll talk about what's going on, what we're going to do, and then we'll eat. And then, you know, inevitably, I'll get up and I'll take my plate and I'll start to put it in the sink and I'll put some things away. And she always stops me and she always says, honey, don't do that. Just leave that for me. I'll take care of it. You know, I'm just like, yeah, okay. Well, then I'll go and I'll get on the computer and I've got projects going on here in Missouri. You know, I've got that kind of stuff going on. I've got bills to set up. A lot of things an expat has to do in order to have a good, peaceful retirement in the Philippines. You have to take care of, you know, when you're there sometimes and sometimes when you're home. It really helps. Like I got on Social Security this time. So, but yeah, they're not afraid of the kitchen. They can cook. They can clean up the dishes. You can do that too, but they're not going to be afraid to do it. And that's one trait that I do like. And I agree with the study. They like to do that. The last thing that I have for you tonight is they talked about an unconditional love that Filipinas have for their husband and their family. Now, I think unconditional love that's something, you know, from God, right? But I will have to say this. Of all the women in the world that I've met and had a relationship with, I would say Flora comes closer to unconditional love towards me than anybody else I've ever met, for sure. And she will take my side, she will support me, and she will try to help me the best that she can in every way that she can. And that love is a constant thing. You know, in America, especially if you've been through a divorce, you know, you get into a new relationship and you're kind of always waiting for that next shoe to drop, right? When is the honeymoon going to be over? When's she going to turn into the real that she is? You know, it's kind of almost, it's kind of almost there, you know, as Western men in our psyche. When does this go south? You know, how do I need to protect myself? You know, and 50% of the time you'd be right. So anyway, that's just not in my marriage now. I can remember one statement I used to say. I got married to Flora. We had been living together for about a month. She got here, now maybe almost 2 months. She got here on the 15th of August, and we were married on October the 5th of the same year. And I remember standing outside the church, and the people were coming by congratulating us. And I have a brother that he come up. I hadn't seen him in a while. He said, "Man, I'm really happy for you," you know, because he knew what I'd been through. And we won't get into that. But he knew what I'd been through. And I told him, and I said this statement after I said it. It sounded so good to me that I was amazed. I said to him, "Well, you know what? I never knew that you could be married and happy at the same time." Now you talk about, that's what the kind of love that a Filipina has. If you choose the right one, it's not that hard to do. That is a very stabilizing force in your life, and Filipinas are well known for that. So anyway, this is Randall Meek. I'm with the Philippines Project. I'm about to wrap up, but if you are single and you want to find a mate, that's one way, is Christian Filipina. Now I'm going to put a link down in the description. I said that before, but I'm also going to put it on the top comment on this video once it gets published. And also, one more thing. Also, they have a service where if you do find your Filipina in the Philippines and you go visit her and you come back, you know how that goes. A lot of people do that because they still have work or family obligations back in the U.S., but they're trying to get the Filipina that they love to the States, or they're trying to get over there. But a lot of times people, they want to bring them, like me. I was in my 40s. I wasn't ready to move to the Philippines. I didn't have the money. I mean, I couldn't just move there, because I quit my job, and guess what? The pay ends. So, you know, I had to figure out a way to get my Filipina, my wife, soon-to-be wife, to America. And Christian Filipina has a service. It's a visa service. So, again, I don't know much about that, but I know I secured the help of a lawyer doing it. I think you could probably do it yourself, and we have done some immigration things ourselves. But you know, if you don't have the education level, which I really didn't have, and you never know what you're getting into, but they have a visa service that is available and you can use, and that will help expedite the process and get it seamlessly done. So all you have to worry about is your relationship, and you don't have to go through all the struggles and of trying to figure out all that immigration paperwork like that. So anyway, again, this is Randall with the Philippines Project. I'm getting out of here. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.